Hello, beautiful people, and welcome. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the midpoint. Divides a segment into two congruent segments. Now, there are two words that we haven't really covered. The first word is going to be segment, and the second word is going to be congruent. So a segment is a section of a line. It does not continue indefinitely. So let me go ahead and draw a segment. So here is one point. Let's call this A. And here is another point. Let's call this B. Now, because I do not have arrows, this is called a segment. Now, congruent means equal in measure. Let's see if this marker works. It does not. Let's try another one. So congruent means equal in measure. So let's read this again. What is a midpoint? The midpoint is the middle point that divides a segment, so a section here, into two congruent equal in measure sections. So let's go and draw our A and B. Here's A. Again, here's our segment A, B. And if we have a middle point, a midpoint, let's say this is point M, capital M, that means that the section AM, segment AM, and segment MB are going to be equal in measure. What that means, they're going to be the same size. So if we have a middle point, that middle point creates two sections or two segments that are equal in measure. To find this middle point in a graph on a segment or a line, we are going to have a midpoint formula. The midpoint formula starts off with capital M is equal to, we're going to open up. Now, a midpoint is a point. So there's going to be parentheses, there's going to be a comma in the middle. Then you're going to have a fraction, a division bar, the number 2, so we're going to be dividing things by 2. And on top, you're going to have a plus and a plus. Now, what are we adding? What are we dividing? We are going to take our x's and y's. We're going to add the x's, divide by 2. We're going to add the y's, divide by 2. So we are going to have x1 plus x2 divided by 2. We're going to have y1, y2 divided by 2. I'm going to go in and I'm going to put in parentheses here because the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add, then divide by 2. We're going to add, then divide by 2. So your answer is going to be x comma y, but it's going to be for the middle point. So let's go ahead and do an example. Let's do example 1 first. Step number 1 in example 1, we need to first label our point. To label our point, we have x1, y1, x2, y2. We need to write out the formula. So we're going to start off with M equals open divided by 2, comma, divided by 2, close it. Let's make this line a little bit bigger because we are going to need to add. Let's put in our pluses. And now you're going to take things in order. You're going to take your x's. You're going to add your x's, divide by 2. You're going to take your y's, Add the y's, divide by 2. So here are my x's. I have x1 is 5, x2 is 1. Now let's find our y's. y1 is 2, y2 is 2. And again, what are we doing? We're adding first, then dividing by 2. So what do we have? 5 plus 1 is 6. 2 plus 2 is 4. Let's divide by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So our middle point is going to be at 3, 2. What does this look like? Let's go ahead and graph and see how this would look like on our segment. Our first point was at 5, 2. So let's find 5. Oh no, looks like my graph is backwards. Well, that's a shame. Make sure these are positives and then make sure these are negatives. So mine are a little bit on the weirder side. Don't worry about that. These are positive, so let's find positive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Positive, positive 2. That's my first point. 1 and 2. Here's 1, here's 2. So here's my 2 points. All of these are pluses, so positive 1, positive 2. I'm just going to fix that real quick because it looks like my graph got flipped backwards, but that's okay. Now let's find our midpoint. Our middle point of this segment, if I was to connect, should be the middle at 3, 2. Let's see where 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. There it is. And that is our middle point here. All right, let's try this again. Label your point first. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. Let's write out our formula. Open, give yourself some space for the addition. Divided by 2, divided by 2. For the midpoint, we are going to be adding our x's, adding our y's. For my x's, I have 2 and 6, 2 and 6. For my y's, I have 8 and negative 2, 8, negative 2. Midpoint is, again, open, divided by 2, comma, divided by 2, close it. Here we're just adding, so 6 plus 2, 6, 7, 8. Here we have 8 and negative 2, so that means I have 6. Now we're going to divide. I get open. 8 divided by 2 is 4, comma. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Close it. Here's our midpoint. And let's graph it. And don't worry about it. Mine is flipped, so we're going to have to pretend it's not. This is positive 1, positive 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And these here are all my negative numbers on this side. Not sure why it flipped. That's weird. All right. Let's go ahead and start with first point, 2 and 8. Here's 2. Here's 8. Second point is 6 and negative 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. I'm going to pick up a ruler, connecting these. I'm just going to connect it. I'm not going to make it a line, so no arrows here. And I'm going to find where my midpoint is. So now I'm going to graph 4, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And this is my middle of my segment. All right, let's go ahead. This concludes our notes. I am going to do one question here on your classwork number 22. So here's question number 1. Here's question number 2. Let's do 2 questions. These are going to be quick. I'm not asking you to graph. I'm just asking you to find the midpoint. So let's start. by labeling x1, y1, x2, y2. Write out your formula. M is equal to open, divide by 2, comma, divide by 2, close it. Put in your pluses. Identify your x's. So we get -10, -4. Identify your y's. We got -3, -7. Midpoint is open, divide by 2, comma, divide by 2, close it. So now here we're going to be adding our x's and adding our y's. We got 4 negatives and 10 negatives. That means I have a -14. 3 negatives, -7, and we got -10. Now we're going to be dividing open, comma, open, closed. -14 divided by 2. These are -7s. Use your multiplication table if you need to. -10 divided by 2 is a -5. This, put a box around it, is your answer. Let's go one more. The rest is going to be on your own. x1, y1, x2, y2. Write out your formula. Midpoint is equal to open divided by 2, comma, divided by 2, close it. Put in your pluses. Identify your x's. We got 7 and -5. Identify your y's. I got 6 and 8. Add. So we still are going to have the divided by 2, divided by 2. So we are having 7 pluses, 5 minuses, or 5 negatives here, and then 6 plus 8 on the other side. So we get +2 here, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 here. And now we actually get to divide. Remember to ask yourself same or different. So here we had different, so it was negative. Here we have same, plus, and plus. We get 2 divided by 2, which is 1, comma. 14 positive divided by 2 positive is a +7. Put a box around it. So you're going to continue with finding the midpoint for all of your classwork number 22. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.